What's up guys, JT Shaver here with New Layer, and today I have the answer to all of your fan noise prayers. This is the Godox UL150. It's the latest light in the Godox lineup, and it was designed with one thing in mind: total silence. Well, that's it for this video. There's really nothing else you need to know. Just kidding, but not really. For those of you who are familiar with the 150 watt Godox lights, the UL150 is just as good when it comes to brightness and color quality, and it's almost identical to the VL150 minus the fan. There are some other minor differences, so let's start from the top and see who this light was made for. The first and best thing about this light is also the most obvious, and it is truly 100% silent. It has a bigger head with a different heatsink design, so it can cool the LED chip passively, and that just makes it more efficiently dissipate heat. It is a little bit heavier as well. The VL150 weighs about 4 pounds, while this light weighs 6 3/4 pounds. And again, that's just because it's bigger and it has more metal in the heatsink. Normally, this is where I would start to show you some audio comparisons of the fan noise, but finally we have a light where that's just pointless. The next thing you need to know about this light is that the head unit and the controller and the AC adapter are all separate pieces. This not only keeps the light cooler, but it has a couple other benefits as well. Number one is that the controller supports V-mount batteries natively, so that makes it ultra portable, and when you have a light that has the AC adapter and the controller in the head unit itself, you really don't have that option. Number two is that it gives you easier access to the controls for this light, even if it's up high and out of reach. The cables that attach to the light and the controller are locking XLR plugs, so they're just much nicer and more secure than traditional power cords. As far as brightness goes, the UL150 is pretty much identical to the VL150, the FV150, and the SL150W Mark II. It's about 1/3 of a stop brighter than the original SL150W. That's really good news because at least in recent years, I've seen some really consistent color quality from all the Godox lights. I measured this light with my Sekonic C800 from 1 meter using just the bare bulb and got the following results. This light is marketed as being 5600 Kelvin, and I got an actual reading of 5687 Kelvin. That's really great, and I consider anything within 100 Kelvin of the target color temperature to be about as good as it gets. The UL150 has a brightness of 6670 lux, and that's the equivalent of f7.1 when you're shooting at ISO 100 and 1/50th of a second. It's also worth noting that you can dim this light all the way down to just 1%, so you can use it in really close-up or delicate situations. I got a TLCI of 97 and a CRI of 97.1 with R9, R13, and R15 values of 94.6, 98.1, and 95.3 respectively. Those are all really good values for accurately rendering skin tones. It gave me a color correction number of 0.9 green, which means that this light has a slight magenta tint, and you need something like an 1/8 or a 1/4 power green gel if you want to correct for that. You can also compensate for that in your white balance settings instead. For the TM30, I got an RF of 92 and an RG of 101. This is what I would consider the pretty good range, and it's not really great like some other lights, but you're definitely not going to get any weird coloration as long as you set your white balance properly. Even if you just use the default 5600 Kelvin setting on your camera, you can easily tweak the colors to perfection in post. It's also good to keep in mind that LEDs typically turn more green over time, so this light should get even more color accurate the longer that you use it. Lastly, I got an SSI of 72 versus the D55 daylight standard, which again is pretty good. It's just not quite as good as some other lights like the Aputure COB lights, which usually come in around 74 or 75. If you don't know what any of this technical stuff means, I'm actually working on a tool that will teach you how to understand all the color rendering indices, and it'll also let you compare lights from any brand using real-world test results instead of having to rely on manufacturer-provided specs. It's not quite finished yet, so if you want to see that, make sure you hit subscribe and follow me on social media so you don't miss that announcement. This light has a Bowens mount just like all the other Godox video lights, but one thing about this light specifically is that it does not include a remote. The good news is that this uses the same RC-A5 Mark II remote as the VL series light, so if you have some of those, you have a remote that works with this light. This light also supports the Godox mobile app, so apart from the controller box, box that comes with the light. You can use your phone or tablet, or you can pick up a remote separately. There are 2 different antennas on the controller box, and one is for the app and one is for the remote controller, so you can plug in one or both or none, depending on how you use this light. The UL150 and VL lights also come with a little Velcro V-mount strap adapter, and that allows you to attach the AC adapter to the back of the controller box to keep everything nice and tidy. It's actually a bigger deal than it seems, because without that you would have the light, a cord, the controller, another cord, the AC adapter with the cord on it going into the wall. With the little Velcro adapter, you can kind of combine the controller, one cord, and the AC power brick all into one thing. This light doesn't have any built-in special effects or flash functionality. It's really meant to be a straightforward light that's super bright, relatively accurate, and completely silent. It also doesn't come with any kind of case, which is kind of a bummer. The only Godox lights that come with a case are the VL series, but I think this light is much more like the VL series than it is the SL or FV series. To me, it just makes sense that this light should come with a case because it includes so many different parts. I don't have a good case solution for the Godox video lights yet, and I know a lot of you have been asking me for a recommendation, but I'm working on it and I'll post an update on that as soon as I can. The UL150 retails for $439, so it is the most expensive 150 watt Godox light by a good margin. And that's especially considering that this light does not come with a case like the next most expensive 150 watt light in the VL150. With all that said, and for what it is, I still think it's actually a really good deal. So why would you buy the UL150 instead of any of the other Godox lights? Really, the only reason is for complete silence. There are other lights out there that you can turn the fan off and run them silently, like the Godox SL150W Mark II, the Pixel C220, and the Nanlite Forza 60. All of those lights have catches to them where they'll either run at a lower brightness or the fan will automatically kick back on after a certain amount of time. This is the only 150 watt light that I know that you can run indefinitely at full power and it still remains completely quiet. That makes this light ideal for interviews, talking head videos, musical performances, macro videos, or just for people that hate fan noise. For me, it's a much more pleasant experience recording when it's completely silent, rather than having multiple lights with fans going all the time. So what do you think? Do you do the kind of work that would make the UL150 worth the price, or would you rather pick up something else? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'll have links to all the lights that I mentioned in the description, and they are affiliate links, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and it really does help me create more reviews like this. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.